Here's what Joe said about the Redskins quarterback situation.
To me, the best scenario for Dwayne would be this, is to sit this year, Case plays, Colt comes back, is healthy enough to be able to be in competition. Because he really doesn't need that much, as much work in training camp as the other guys from a mental standpoint. He will physically. And give Dwayne a chance to process everything. Be in the meetings. Watch film. Maybe get into some games in late situations to be able to sort of wet your whistle a little bit. That, to me, would serve him well. I don't want to see him become a Joey Harrington. I don't want to see him get the ever-loving daylights beat out of him because he's not going to be able to really run away from anybody. So he's going to become the classic, true, out-of-the-pocket decision-making quarterback, which I think creates longevity in this game. But to put him out there early against those teams, it's just a formula for disaster for the team, for Jay, for the fans, everybody else.
Wow. And I actually agree with everything he said. It's just that in today's era, that just doesn't happen. You're not given that kind of time to develop. I think what he said, I agree with every single thing he's saying. But what makes me raise my eyebrow, I know I'm going to assume he's been out and he's seen a little bit or he's hurt. My initial reaction upon hearing this is
his comments are tainted based on what he's seen
or heard. That when I heard this, like I agree with everything he said, but that's not the era we live in.
Right.
So what it tells me is he looks like poop, and that they need to slow their roll on this whole thing.
I don't know. We have more comments from Joe.
Yeah, so this is
calling into Nick Ashew and Tom Lavera over the weekend.
So this was before that statement, so he kind of leads up to the statement that you just heard, and this is him kind of explaining how he got to that conclusion.
Okay.
I would definitely say he shouldn't start. Our first 5 games are in Philly, Dallas at home, Chicago on a Monday night, then we get the Giants, and then we get New England. The young man's played 13 football games. What in that whole entire description makes any sense or convinces you that he should play? Now, I'll spin it even more forward for you. How much work is he going to get in training camp? Craig was talking about it, and you guys, Case Keenum has to get his time. Case has to learn the system. He has to learn how to play in this system of Jay's. So how much time is Dwayne going to get? You only have 17 days in training camp. I mean, under this stupid CBA, nobody gets a chance to work. The guys can't even go to the facility now and work out with the coaches. I mean, this past collective bargaining agreement has not done players or anybody well because they don't have a chance to get better. There are tons of players out there that want to get better at what they do, but they can't go anywhere near a coach. They can't go on the practice field, which is just ludicrous.
Oh, yes, D. Smith would think otherwise about the CBA, but maybe that's just me.
And Eric kind of backs him up. It's kind of that old school mentality, but this is me as a fan. If I draft somebody in the first round, I want to see him out there, and it would be a disaster, in my opinion, to hold the guy back. And what I'd also
ready.
What I'd also say is Joey Harrington is Joey Harrington not because they put him on the field too soon, in my opinion. It's because he's Joey Harrington. Meaning, if you held him back for a year, I don't believe he would have all of a sudden become an Aaron Rodgers type.
Maybe not Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe you disagree. There's no way to prove it one way or the other. It's just my opinion that if a guy is going to be a bust, he's going to be a bust whether he starts in the beginning or starts 5 games in or starts after 2 seasons.
I know a lot of people think that David Carr in particular was ruined by being thrown out there and not having a line to protect him.
I mean, there's no way to prove it one way or other. I
Times.
just would believe that David Carr, if they decided to sit him a whole year, he still would have been David Carr. That's just my opinion.
Right, but some people, so you're actually suggesting then there's no value in learning, that you couldn't be, you're discounting
You should play
that.
a guy when they're ready. Like if the guy can't get to the team on the line and call the plays.
Yeah, but that's just the first part of it.
Right, and if he can't make any reads and he's terrible, you don't play him if you're going to just lose every game. But generally, I would want the guy playing. And I'm just looking at the recent years. You could go back. Look, they threw Peyton Manning out there in week 1.
Who's Peyton Manning?
Okay. That's fine.
Totally different animals.
He broke one overall pick.
But point is, he broke the record in interceptions.
Yeah, right, exactly. He was Peyton freaking Manning.
Right. Go through that with your guy.
But when you have lesser talents, nobody's suggesting he's Peyton Manning. When you have lesser talents, a lot of times they take longer.
And the variable here is Jay Gruden is fighting for his job. So he's, of course, going to go.
I understand
he's going to lean towards the more seasoned guy.
There's no doubt Jay doesn't want to play.
I'm not going to go.
No doubt.
But my point is, I'm not going to go back to Peyton Manning. I'm just going to look at the last couple of seasons. First of all, in 2016, Dak Prescott, who was drafted much later than Dwayne Haskins, he won Rookie of the Year. Okay? The last couple of years, you've had people like Carson Wentz and Baker Mayfield succeed as rookies.
Yeah, right.
To me, I just want to see it. You draft somebody at 15, I'm not going to hold him back. If he's not the guy, it'll be proven out. And if he is the guy, you're playing him. And he's going to learn a la Peyton Manning. My point is not that he's going to be Peyton Manning, is that you identified a guy, whether it was Peyton Manning or Troy Aikman, who was going to be your quarterback of the future. And I believe that the Redskins have decided that by drafting him at 15th, that he's the quarterback of the future.
They're hoping.
So start giving him the experience now, as long as he's capable at a minimal level.
But you know who didn't decide that, who didn't think that necessarily, was Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden was it was widely reported. He was the holdout. He wasn't all in on this, but he didn't have much say in it. So no one is going to dispute the fact that Jay is not in a hurry to play this kid.
If Jay,
at all.
If Jay had ultimate job security and he could do whatever he wanted,
maybe.
All right. No, I'm just saying if you granted him that.
Yeah, I'm saying then maybe he would be on board with that.
No, who do you think he would choose? Like right now,
with
the season
ultimate
started
job
tomorrow.
responsibility, like he knew he was going to be here 5 years.
Yeah, if it
I think he
wasn't
still wants to win. I don't think he's really interested in developing guys. I think he wants to win.
By the way, I think you're onto something. If you read between the lines, it sounds like Joe knows that Dwayne
like poop.
is kind of far away from being ready.
All the guys, when JP and Kaufman, all those guys are out there, they said Haskins looked great on the first day. Since then, basically, I'm reading between the lines, poop show.
I don't think they said poop show.
but they say Case has clearly looked better.
That Case looked better.
Right.
And that Haskins started throwing some interceptions. If you want to chime in, your thoughts, 800-63. Theismann wasn't on that show. He was listening and offered his opinion, and his opinion is the Redskins should hold back on starting Haskins, particularly at the beginning, but it almost sounds like he just wants him to sit the whole year.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with it. I'm in no hurry.
I'm not into redshirt years for guys who are drafted
That's
15th.
something from a bygone era, in my opinion. It just is.
It can work. I don't want to rush him. They'll know. I think they'll know when he's ready. If they think this guy could give us the best chance. I think reading between the lines from hearing the reports of people that are out there, I just think once he grasps it, once he gets it, once he puts it all together, I just don't think it's going to be that hard to beat out Keenum and Colt McCoy.
So I think
those guys are journeymen. They're not long-term answers here.
Right.
As soon as it clicks for him, I think he has the skill set and the talent. He has way more of that than both of those guys put together.
Of course, way more upside. I think I just have a general philosophical difference with you, EB. Yeah. So let me just throw out the scenario. And there's no answer. There's no way to know. Mm-hmm. What do you think David Carr would have become had they given him a redshirt season?
I don't know the answer to it.
Do you think he would have been a Pro Bowler?
The suggestion is they would have been better. Yeah.
Because when you say they ruined him, I don't know that they ruined him.
I think it's a general consensus.
He might have been exactly what he was going to be.
It's possible. The general consensus is, though, the beating he took, he just never was comfortable in the pocket after that. All the sacks he took in like the first 2 years. So I don't know. You see the talent. They saw the talent. Just didn't.
And I think guys are more ready now.
Yeah.
Now he's only had 13 starts. That's a low amount of starts. But the guys that come in, and you just look at last year. Most of those guys came in, they were pretty ready to go.
So if you're Jay Gruden and you see Case Keenum outperforming him every practice, you'd still start Dwayne because he can get him to the huddle and he can call the play and he can actually run it.
So there's a minimum threshold. If there's a chasm between them, then I would start Case Keenum. But if it's fairly close,
doesn't sound like it's fairly close.
I mean, what do we know? The guys it's been out there.
It's been like mini camps. So there's so much time left for him to digest.
If it's fairly close,
and beat those other
close, I'd say within like 20%, like whatever the range is. If he's 20% worse than Case Keenum for week one, I would still start Haskins because he's your quarterback of the future.
I don't want to risk the potential. You don't think that exists? I do believe it exists, that you could throw a kid to the wolves too quickly and you
I
can
mean, they got to
ruin
be
them.
thrown to the wolves at some point.
Wait till they're ready.